Tennis Channel proudly presents the ATP World Tour. It's the singles final of the Brisbane International in Australia. The 3-seed Fernando Verdasco takes out 8-seeded Radek Stepanek. Both players have won a pair of titles in their career and both defeated Frenchmen in the semifinals. Stepanek has won the 2 previous meetings. It's a chance for one of these men to start 2009 with a championship heading to the Australian Open. Now let's join our match announcers at Patrick Rafter Arena. John Alexander and Todd Woodbridge have the call.
In overcoming Richard Gasquet, Fernando Verdasco was absolutely brutal with his manhandling of Paul-Henri Mater, winning 6-2 and 6-1. Could have even been 6-love in the second set. He did lead 5-love, and this is one of the hottest players on the tour. And when you talk about confidence, Todd, he's playing the doubles. He went from having a very high level of confidence in the singles, but some of his playing the doubles was just blistering late yesterday. Yeah,
it's extraordinary. And I know, talking to him in the locker room before he walked out on the court, he did mention the fact that the Davis Cup finals win did an enormous amount for his confidence. The key element of that was the doubles match against Argentina in Argentina, and then David Ferrer had hurt himself, the #1 Spaniard, and he had to come out and play in the 4th rubber and came out and won in 5 sets. So those sorts of matches can do enormous things for careers.
Well, he was having very, very good progress throughout the year. He'd been solid throughout the year, but the Davis Cup really capped it off. He was a finalist at Nottingham. Some of that tournament ended up being played indoors, started off on grass, of course, of rain. 4th rounder at Wimbledon, which he seems to do very well on grass, and 4th rounder at the French. He's ready to go a bit further in the majors. 5 times
he's reached the 4th round of 16, and I think this year is the year we'll see him break through.
And then a picture afterwards. You guys have any questions on this match? Radek, heads or tails? Head, all yours. Yeah, it's one of those. And it's a tail. Fernando? Receive. And a photo? A photo? At the net.
So we hear that Verdasco's going to receive, but you can see where careers start to move up, JA, by looking at those Grand Slam results. James Blake's been interesting for me because he hasn't been able to quite crack it at the Slam, but I think we'll see Verdasco this year at least reach a quarter-final, if not better.
Well, he's got the fundamental thing to play Grand Slams. He's fit. He's good over 5 sets. I think there's always been a question mark over James Blake, his ability to play 5-set matches, and that's why somebody, although he's enormously high rankings and great success and wins over major players, he hasn't been able to do so at Grand Slam events. But Verdasco is just magnificently prepared. He's very, very fit and strong, he's quick, and he can play all day.
I had a chat to Peter Parler, who's the coach this week of Radek Stepanek, and Stepanek's done a lot of work with Peter Korda over the years, but Peter doesn't travel. Now, Peter Parler, I always want to go and pick pepper or whatever, but he said today that he realises that Radek's got to really try and step up into the court because the weight of shot, the heaviness off the ground of Verdasco is a lot different to the style yesterday of Richard Gasquet. So it feels like he's got to keep the points short. We have a look at his profile. And
this is the veteran Radek Stepanek, 30 years of age. Of course, 30 makes you a very old veteran these days. Finished the year at 26. He's seeded 8th. He's got 2 career titles. Last year, he was a finalist in San Jose, a semi-finalist in Sydney, Memphis, and in Rome, where he beat Roger Federer and Metz. His run through to the final has gotten harder at the quarterfinals. He went 3 sets with Soderling and really tore Soderling's game apart in the end, dismantled it. And he dismantled Gasquet's brain yesterday. He really got under his skin for a fine 3-set win.
Can't afford to do today what he did yesterday, where he got off to a good start, got the early break, and then actually gifted it back by some rather rash shot selections. And that's Peter Parler, the coach of Radek Stepanek. That was also what he mentioned. He's done it a couple of times this week when he's dropped the first set. So can't afford that against this man today in screen. Fernando Verdasco's 25 years of age, world ranking of 15, 3rd seed, 2 titles, both on clay, and one of those last year in Umag. And this is the first time he may have the opportunity of winning on a hard court. Played indoors last year, and this was his road to the final. Came up against Bernard Tomic, the young Australian who we've talked a lot about as perhaps one of the next ones to do well for us, and that was 4-2, and good for us to see how we could perform up at this level. Quick wins over Mario Ancic. Serra dropped the first but came back very quickly, and then look at the result in the semi-final against Paul-Henri Mathieu. It was 2-1. It was very dominant. And on the left of screen is Fernando's father, Jose, and on the right is his good mate Claudio. And Claudio today wants to be known as the coach, J.A. He figures that he's becoming all important in the success of this week, and he's looking for more road trips.
It's a decent road trip to come all the way out to Australia from Espanyol. So there's the head-to-heads. They don't mean that much. Stepanek has won both times. 5 sets on grass is the last meeting in 2006. Their previous meeting was in 2004. So the world has done a few turns for Fernando Verdasco since then. He is on the improve. And the umpire for today's match, Steve Ulrich from the United States.
Ready for play. First set.
Fernando Verdasco. He's going to serve in the opening game. Very experienced opponent who's had, I'd say, 2 upset wins the last 2 rounds. Can he pull off a third?
love.
Showing the full variety in his play straight away is Radek Stepanek, and this was an interesting choice of shot because that one you would have thought would have just been drilled round or through his opponent. Instead he's gone for the touch volley lob, showing signs of confidence early. Two shots in that rally to look for. Verdasco will be hitting the kick serve hard out wide to the Stepanek forehand because you can draw the odd error from that or slight mishit. And then on the other side of the net, it's Verdasco's backhand that's the one weaker wing that he drops short and can produce the odd error off as he did in that point. That's the mishit one there, J.A., that the left-handed spin. When you come into that one with decreasing racket head speed, you will miss hit, and that you can see in that replay is what happened.
Net, sir.
That's his big weapon.
40-30.
Terrific racket head speed, and when the ball's above net level, he unloads power and spin. A very heavy ball. And just a little too tricky by half. Verdasco holds. Opening game, 1-1.
First game.
Verdasco camp reasonably happy with that. Funny shirt to wear in Brisbane. He's got to learn better travel etiquette.
They relate in some ways, don't they?
They do.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, they're similar cities.
And Miami Beach would be the Gold Coast. Yeah, there's some similarities, similar weather, much better surf here, and we don't have the crime that they have in Miami, of course.
No.
Radek Stepanek to serve.
Well, Stepanek yesterday, he served well in the opening set, was up above 70% of first serves in, but got crunched in that first set. Thought he'd been serving badly was the report that I heard. And Peter Parler, his coach, after the match went to him and said, look, mate, it was nothing to do with your serve. It was due to your shot selection that got you in trouble. There was 3 first serves and he played a very similar point to the one just then where he threw in a weak drop shot. Got himself in trouble.
Love 30. Net, second serve. Love 40.
Rudder getting off to a little bit of a slow start, as he did in both the quarterfinal and the semi-final, where he lost the opening set 6-2 on both occasions.
Fifteen 40.
Good net coverage from Stepanek. That was the one I thought might have got ripped past the forehand, so it was breathe a sigh of relief. The backhand's not as penetrating as the forehand wing in the Verdasco game. And there it is.
He couldn't get lucky twice. And it's the Verdasco forehand that does the damage.
Verdasco leads 2 games to love.
He really looks confident, doesn't he, Jay? Got the swagger about him. He's always had a bit of a swagger, but now it's because of his tennis.
He does all right off the court as well. Serving, leading to love.
15.
This is that slightly mishit, weak sort of return off the forehand of Stepanek, and off that ball there, Verdasco can go any direction, and it's his opponent moving backwards, wrong footing them.
Thirty, 15.
Just a little rushed with that snap. Two-fister coming back very quickly. He needs a little time to get set to do his best work on forehand. It's designed principally to generate pace, whereas his backhand, as so many of the players, the two-fister, a little bit more compact and can deal with the fast ball better. Forehand again, Paul likes it. It's 3-love to Fernando. Fernando Verdasco has made great progress over the last 3 years, bringing his ranking up from 35 at the end of 2006, 26 at the end of 2007, and finished 2008 at 16. But what wasn't shown within that ranking, there's no points for Davis Cup, and Davis Cup is where he excelled at the end of the year. In Argentina, against Argentina, which would be one of the tallest orders in world tennis. Anything more difficult probably be to beat Spain in Spain. Radek serving, love 3.
He was there early enough.
15.
So much time that he was able to get there with the two-hander, but not getting underneath it enough. It's probably a shot that just should be pushed in deep and sit on the net, as opposed to try and hit a clean winner from that low below the net. If Stepanek is trying to get serving percentage up and he's not hitting a lot of speed, he's not doing a very good job in the opening couple of games. He can pop his serve. He likes to mix around the variety of spin and speed, but 38% of balls in court's not quite good. And take into the fact that he's only winning 33% of it when it does is even worse.
could be his tactic, because when he gets his second ball in, he's winning twice as many points, 67%. And as opposed to Beredasko, who leads the tour on first serve percentage, he's doing 83% of first serves in at the moment.
Stop it. That is incredible. This was purely Sydney or the bush, wasn't it?
Well, this forehand was magnificent from Beredasko, right in the corner, but that slap shot, I guess you can try it at 40 love, but it was hit dead flat. Enormous racket head speed. It missed the top of the net by a centimetre and inside the baseline by a similar margin. And he's on the board. I thought we could have got a bit more reaction from
he's warming it
Radic after that. There was just a bit of a half fist pump.
He's down 3-1 at this stage. He's just got warming up them. Can't overdo it when you're behind. That's the interesting shot for me with Beredasko. The no pace down the middle of the court on the backhand. He decides not to run around it, has trouble generating his own speed, and that's where you can get a breather out of him at least. He's a clever player, isn't he, Stepanek? Because he's just thrown that slow ball straight back there again, mixing it up.
Well, yeah, he got absolutely thrashed for the first 3 games, but you can see he's got a very set strategy that he wants to implement, and it is about getting at the Beredasko backhand, short, low, sliced, drop shot.
15.
There's a lot of players, they find the left-handed serve difficult, both the kicker and the one that slides into the body on Radic's forehand. He's much happier with the ball going to his backhand on serve. We saw that happen in his early stages of the match against Robin Soderling, where he was so intent on slicing the ball to keep it low that quite often he was finding the net with that sliced backhand.
It's a damaging shot, that forehand. So much height over the net when he went down the line, and curling the ball into court. It's huge control. Look at the outside of the ball. Great margin and pinpoint accuracy. You can't ask for better than that.
Beredasco.
Again, Beredasco leads 4-1 in the opening set. Pleasant conditions here at the Queensland Tennis Centre. The roof taking any sting out of the sun. A little breeze does come through and is helpful. And Stepanek playing his all-court game. Great variety, short slices, drop shots, trying to get his younger opponent off balance. But when Fernando gets a forehand, he wreaks havoc. Stepanek serving 1-4.
Doesn't like it up there sometimes, Stepanek. It's surprising because most two-handers don't have trouble with that high ball. That's the beauty of the two-hander. But when it gets above the shoulder, he actually goes with the single hand, which seems a bit of an odd choice.
Second serve.
Struggling on serve, Stepanek. Only 1 in 4 going in. I mean, it's only his third service game, so it's tough to equal out statistics, but that's still bad.
Yes, it's a definite trend. He's getting in 25% of first serves.
Clever.
Much more clever at the net, a close dueling than Beredasco.
30-15.
Still didn't think Peter Parler looked totally impressed by that. This is where he's better than his opponent. Anywhere around the net. Strong doubles player, Stepanek.
He's close to getting into this match, isn't he? That little snap attack there. He's just got to implement a little better, and it would certainly help if he served, improved.
Net.
Well, this is what to expect in an ATP final. Men's tennis, great tennis, all-court tennis. That little flip forehand was rather a difficult one. And this time the close encounter is Velasco who comes out on top. Velasco holds on to serve. It's 4-2.
Beredasko leads 4 games to 2.
Desperately trying to play his way into this opening set, staying in sight.
And the psychology of tennis is always intriguing to me, because yesterday Stepanek, once he started to make a bit of a move, deliberately tried to get in ahead of Richard Gasquet, who he obviously felt that he could do that. Today, I'm not feeling the same confidence about his body language towards the opponent.
No, it's almost as if he's assessed there's nothing he can do to upset Velasco, so he shouldn't bother trying. But we will see.
We're looking for some new moves today.
Out. 15-0.
Seemed like an overrule from Steve Ulrich. And Stepanek just standing there as if he was sure the ball was going long, made no move to get back into proper hitting position.
It's almost, that was a conning type of way, wasn't it? I'll just make sure that the umpire gives me the call. Broke him down.
But Radek's going to play straight up like that. He won't have much success. He's got to break the game up and move his opponent in and out of his comfort zone. No doubt that Fernando is working hard in this match, as he does with all matches, the way he plays from the back of the court.
Just lost his footing then. Almost slipped on the line. It can happen if a couple of drops of sweat get on there, and that the line is always wasn't on the line, was it? Just didn't quite get the foot to the court.
He sort of slipped on air, didn't he?
Yeah. Sometimes the lines they're a different paint to the rest of the surface. Sometimes a little bit smoother. Gave him the benefit of the doubt, but it wasn't right.
switching the attack, going for the winner across court. Off the two-fister, miscued it.
Oh, it's just interesting to see him have a chat there after that previous point. Like you mentioned, he looked like he was working hard. Then two rather loose points, lack of footwork on one, rash shot choice on the next. Oh, I thought Stepanek was playing that point beautifully.
He really slowed it down, didn't he?
That was the ball I expected him to almost come in and charge on, because he'd slowed, nice slow pace to get him to drop off the length. Here it was, and then Radek just steered it too much himself. He knew it too. That was a big point then.
Slow and painful call. Radek doesn't want to accept it, but it is 5-2. Well, Fernando Verdasco goes to a 5-2 lead, but he's a little bit fortunate on this final call.
I think he was, because you and I are sitting directly on that line. The linesman, in actual fact, is just in front of us, but we had a clear view. And 2 against 1, we thought it was in. You're not going to go against me now.
No, I'm right with you. But we don't get a vote. And it is one of the hardest things to be a linesman. The balls are so close, and Steve Ulrich couldn't, for sure, make the overrule. So he did the right thing, backing the linesman. New balls, 2-5. This is absolutely incredible statistic. 24% of first serves in, winning 25% of the time. He's got 100% of his second serves in, winning 77% of the time. Verdasco's only winning 50% of the points on his second serve, which rarely gets an outing, because he gets 86% of his first balls in.
What? I thought Sam was serving for him. At 6-5. No, then it was 6-5. And he raises the arms there, J.A. One of the few free points that he's got off his serve. He's not serving with a lot of speed, though. That one only at 165 k's per hour.
Starting to get onto it, driving that forehand from above net level. That's about as flat as a ball can get hit.
Without becoming a slice.
charged.
Well, this was an interesting point. Often players will change tactics at this stage, as Beredasko did on the first serve. He's been using the kick-heavy serve out wide to the forehand all the time. This time he went down the tee with the first ball. He made an error when he had that drive volley. Instead of coming in and picking up a next volley, he backpedaled and put himself in a defensive position. So a chance now for Stepanek. That was the one I was expecting on the first court. That serve troubles Stepanek. He decelerates into the ball with that forehand, and when you do that, you lose control. Because left-handed has a difficult spin for a right-hander to cope with. And see him, he's trying to get it moving there.
Two set points.
Please. Thank you for the ball.
They're a very resourceful player.
And he just had too much firepower, Beredasko.
But the astounding statistic to this point is that Stepanek is only getting 29% of first serves in. He's only winning 50% of those, whereas Beredasko, who leads the tour in first serve percentages in,
and that's an incredible statistic.
About 75%. Today he's at 85%.
And this is for the entire year. Every match he's played throughout the year, he's serving at above that, which is enormous. And look at it today, 85% of first serves in. He's not just putting it in at 120 Ks, they're 180 and above. Exceptional.
Yeah, and beautiful variety too. He's really worked the ball well. He's kicked the ball high and wide to Radek's forehand, which Radek doesn't like. He slid it into his body on the forehand side on the second court, which has caused him more pain. But Radek, in the last two rounds against Soderling and Gasquet, he'd lost the first set 6-2. So he's actually doing much better than he did the last two rounds. He's got one more game.
I'm interested to see, J.A., if he just throws in a little bit of the antics, if you want to call them, or psychological games that he threw in yesterday. I think he's got to do that to try to unsettle Beredasko, and he likes to get in your face a bit, likes to throw the mower and ride the pony, as you came up with yesterday. What you might see, if Stepanek can make a few more of these points go his way, he'll start staring his opponent down. And that's when he tries to draw them into the gamesmanship play.
That's where Radic is clearly the better player in the close encounters when they're both close to the net. And the drop shot unsettling and unseating Bersasco from the back of the court. It's been his most effective play to this point of the match. Trying to move in from a little bit deep and wide. Couldn't quite make net position. Handily passed across court. Serves now picking up, hitting the mark more often with the first ball, sneaking into the net there very quickly. Great volleying position, closing out the point. And again for Stepanek, he leads 1-love, second set.
Second set. What's the reason?
Well, sold right out, as it has been for the last couple of days. And this centre has received acclaim from all the players and the thousands of fans who have come to see international level tennis for the first time in a long while in Brisbane. They're very proud of their tennis centre, and they should be. Beautifully located just on the Brisbane River, not far from the city. Some lovely old Queenslander houses surrounding the area. Bit of a mystery to some of the foreign guests why they built on stilts. Bersasco serving, love one.
Expect to see Stepanek being a little bit more aggressive here. It's the first time he's really got in front. Lost an early service game in the first, went down 3-love quickly. That was the margin for error on that forehand. I mean, that ball was 6 feet over the net, huge amount of top spin, not that close to the line, and just taking off the court and bouncing away. There's no danger in any of that. It's such solid tennis. Yet it's aggressive.
Sneak move by Stepanek. It's the tennis player's tennis player, looking for ways to unsettle his younger opponent and making those charges to the net unexpectedly. Look, moving from beyond the baseline. As soon as he sensed Bersasco was in trouble, was going to go for a defensive high ball over the net, got in quick. Almost made a spin on the ball.
Smart though.
From Verdasco, that slice, the ball bending in the air.
What he was trying to do in the first set, starting to work a little bit. That slow rolling forehand to the Verdasco backhand. Doesn't like generating pace off his backhand. Verdasco happy as Larry to do it off the forehand.
Happy as Jose, as the saying is. Wore him down. Verdasco goes with the two-hander and topspin. Slice with the one-hander, and that ball really is cut.
It's just changing. Verdasco not using a forehand. It's the first breakpoint opportunity of the match for Stepanek. The change is that Verdasco is sort of just trying to rally, slice the backhand, whereas in the first he was moving quicker to get around that side to use the forehand as the weapon. Oh, he had him.
Such a makeable volley.
Almost. That was almost. He was expecting something better to come at him. Be disappointed with that.
Dad Jose and best mate Claudio. Very tense moment in this match. Early in this second set. Forehand. 1-1, second set. And here's Fernando's support team, pretty animated at times. And he responds like with like. Quite emotional both before and after the matches. There's hugs and there's really sincere gesturing. I really hear on
look, Claudio's come down to Australia just as a mate for a bit of a holiday, I suppose, and I think he's all of a sudden thinking about a year-long contract to travel around the world.
See how well you play when I come. Can't argue with results.
Wonder if he's on a percentage, because if Bersasco was to win today, the prize money for the champion is $77,200 US. The runner-up will take home $40,500.
And at this stage of their respective careers, the money is meaningful. Solid game from Stépanek. He's getting back into this match, leading 2-1. Clay Steitman working on Stépanek's back, which he did in the semi-final yesterday, when Radek seemed to have some discomfort, which impacted on his serve. And I would guess that's what's...
By the colour of that cream, it looked like a heat cream, just trying to get deep into the muscle.
Yeah.
He hasn't been serving at normal speed, has he?
No, not at all. At 258 is no one's speed, by the way.
I hadn't seen that. I've been serving around 158.
Wait a second, he missed a first serve. First one in half an hour. Just doesn't look as comfortable as he did in the first set.
Hey, look, he might be starting to think about the consequences of a win today. And both players appearing in... They've played quite a few finals. It's 7th final for Bersasco. He's won 2 but lost 4. And for Stépanek, he's won 2 but lost 5.
One of those finals was on hard courts in 2007, Los Angeles, where he beat James Blake. He has had success in finals on hard courts. But both have losing records in finals, although Fernando has a long way to go.
He's having a chat to Peter Parler, his coach. I'm not sure. I was thinking, would you concentrate harder on that baseline? He's sitting right there. That's Peter Parler, former player, French Open doubles finalist.
To get charged, as he did at this stage of the match with Gasquet yesterday. 2 exquisite shots there. The backhand down the line hit the line, and this one just centimetres inside. Bersasco applauds. Having a shocker of a game. He's missed 2 first serves now. Percentage drops to 87% of first balls in.
Sarah has trouble with the slow ball. Could have done anything then. Could have ripped a backhand. And it's almost like too many choices. This ball popped off the tape. And that was a bad error.
Well, you can't play a winner off that. And he doesn't really want to slice it down the line and come in like a natural net rusher. So he is confused as to what to do.
And then he's been saving that one. The 2-19 first serve. This is the first time in the match that Verdasco's really gone after the first serve and gone over 200 Ks. And, gee, what a treat to be able to have that in your repertoire just to go up a gear or two. Turbo boost at break point down.
Errors are coming from the back of the court and in particular off the backhand. And just the risk-reward equation there not favourable. The ball wasn't going to be a winner had it gone in. And yet he's pushed it too close to the line. Broken, and Radic wants the crowd to lift, and they want to see a match. They want to see a third set. Got a lot of fans here this week. Coming from behind against Robin Soderling, being crunched in the first set 6-2, and just disassembling his game in the quarterfinals, as he did with Richard Gasquet yesterday, having lost the first set 6-2. Got under his skin with some of his antics.
What's so clever about him, though, is the strategy he puts into play every point. It's different all the time. He's thinking about everything. He's realised he's had to change the game plan a little bit today. And the coach knows the way he thinks and enjoys it.
That's the first smile all week, I'm sure. Ominous in itself.
They've been somewhat suspicious because Peter told me that's the winning centre court T-shirt this week. He says as soon as they walk off the court, he takes it off, doesn't go walking around the streets in it. And they've had to be eating at the same restaurant for the last 4 nights.
Well, that backhand down the line of Verdasco was a bit of a desperate shot. He got away with it, but he was frustrated because he felt snookered and just happened to luck out with something right in the corner. I think he was just trying to play a very heavily backspun drop shot, so he really miscued on it.
On clay or hard court?
Good slide, isn't it? Wear your shoes out in a hurry. Oh, well, a bit of tax deduction. If they had to pay for them. And Stepanek really starting to command play now.
Well, the first serve's going in. That's half of the equation. But this is the natural volleyer. Immediately hits one volley, moves to cover the right shot on the next. It's elementary.
To Watson. Stabak really on a run now, leading 4-1, second set. Radek starting to pull some of his tricks, and this is what happened just on the change of ends. Bedasko's virtually there, and then Radek just runs straight in front of him, a little graze of the shoulder, and makes Bedasko stop. So the mind games
Have begun.
in earnest.
Yeah, that really got him into the match yesterday against Richard Gasquet. It started to really annoy him. And look, all in all, it annoys a lot of the guys in the locker room, I can tell you that. But, you know, good on him. He competes hard, and that's what competing is.
He's just toying with Bedasko now.
Well, like most Europeans, and particularly clay courters, they like to dominate from the baseline, moving laterally. And what Stepanek's doing so well, and he's very clever with, is he's making him move, you know, forward and backward, and that's the movement patterns that clay courters dislike.
Well, the winners are flowing, the drop shots are flowing. He's upset the rhythm of Bedasko. He's not allowing him to play his baseline game.
It's the first point for some time where Bedasko's been able to dictate with the forehand.
Yeah, it's a marvellous shot, isn't it? The Bedasko forehand, a weighty shot.
I think he's got to be a little bit more aggressive with the footwork to make sure that he gets around and uses it a little bit more, though. He got complacent, happy to just hit backhands for a while here.
There's the forehand again. Great racket head speed. Clearance over the net. Beautiful blend of power and spin. Stays in sight. It's 4-2.
Leads 4 games to 2.
Still the break in favour of Radek Stepanek in this second set. So easily could have been 2. And so Fernando has been able to stay inside. 4-2. Stepanek serving.
Oh, good first volley. What a good dig on the toes. Controlled the depth into the backhand corner. See here, this was the key, getting it back deep to Verdasco so he didn't have time to come up with a big pass.
Exquisite drop shot, frustrating the Spaniard. And Fernando really starting to feel a bit of frustration here. Had words towards the umpire, couldn't understand what his concern was.
Well, Jay, there were 3 balls in that rally where I felt Verdasco could have got around and used his forehand, but was content to just keep putting the backhand into play. If he's going to do that, I don't think he's going to win today. He's not being proactive enough.
Absolutely agree. It's been contained on the backhand side. And easily, Stepanek goes to a 5-2 lead, second set. Now this final has become a match. Stepanek leading 5-2 in the second set. Verdasco to serve. But Verdasco, like Stepanek's 2 previous opponents, has had his rhythm upset. He's had his game taken from him. He's not been able to dominate from the back of the court with his weapon, his forehand. It's been contained.
You know, it's interesting because what Stepanek's strengths are the ability to change the game up, come forward, unnerve his opponents. In some ways, the way to beat him is to do the same thing back at him, because that's what he doesn't like as well. He doesn't like it when people are extremely aggressive at him. He wants to roll the ball around, get you to drop it short, use his athleticism. And Verdasco is a good volley. I've seen him serve volley quite a lot in matches. He plays good doubles. I think he needs to try to be more aggressive himself, try to get into the net, take the net away from Stepanek. Well, it would have been easy if he put the smash away.
He's just become totally frustrated at his inability to win points. And that final forehand was just an act of capitulation. Look at this court coverage.
On this one here, J.A., did you hear him scream out in the middle of it? I know that there was a couple of points yesterday where that was an issue for Gasquet. It was almost trying to put the opponent off mid-rally.
Well, Gasquet did go to the umpire on one occasion where there was a very loud yell well after the hit as Gasquet was trying to make a volley. There was no doubt that it was designed and in fact did distract Gasquet while volleying. He got no mercy from the umpire. he's moving around. He's a different tennis player when he gets around the backhand. Launches this almighty forehand weapon. And that's what he's got to do more. He's got to commit to bring his forehand to the game. Holds on. His game has been fragmented. Stepanek serving for the second set to level the match. Full house. And international tennis of the highest level in Brisbane this week. And that hasn't happened for many a day.
Oh, good tennis from Stepanek. Gee, he was watching like a hawk his opponent, because as soon as he saw Velasco went for the single-hander, first step, bang, he was in to take it out of the air and get good net position.
Well, he sees when he's going for the single-hander, he raises his racket, which means he's going to slice the ball heavily so he can move in and take the volley. It's not going to drop to his feet. Gets it above the level of the net. Three set points. Exquisite drop shot to complete the second set. It's
Talking about prize money, the Australian Open announcing yesterday that the winner will receive $2 million. That's Australian dollars, but $2 million to the winner and $1 million to the runner-up. It's the first time that they've reached that mark. So,
well, I think the first Australian
equal prize money, of course, men and women.
That was played here in Brisbane at Milton, which lies rotting now, and it was the year that Rod Laver won the Grand Slam for the second time, 1969. I think his top prize money was about $3,000 for the win. One of the greats of all time, Rod Laver and Ken Rosewall, a golden era.
This is where I think Velasco has to get just a little bit more aggressive. He used the forehand there, but a lot of points he has Stepanek so deep in the court, and Stepanek just knows he's not going to follow into the net, so he can just roll the ball back deep with no pace, under no pressure, and just keep himself alive until he can get himself forward. I think Velasco's got to take advantage of that. When you know you've hit such a good shot, move forward.
It's probably the first one this year.
Thank you in the corner. Your enthusiasm is amazing, but please do not disturb when they make a mistake. Thank you.
Steve Aldrich disciplining one of the slightly untidy members of the public.
Never heard such a thing before.
You behave yourself, I'll send you from the room.
15.
Your enthusiasm is fantastic, but please don't applaud an error. I've never heard that from a central chair umpire. I mean, Steve's been around for a long time. Quite extraordinary. I mean, we want enthusiasm and crowd participation in the sport. We don't want to send them home.
And that's the type of point that Beredasko must promote. Dominating with his forehand.
30 all.
Still wasn't prepared to come forward with Stepanek having to chip and be about 5 metres behind the baseline.
Yeah, this match has gone through a strange change. Radic stealing the net again. And not quite putting that one away, but he's earned break point.
You feel any atmosphere from the crowd? That hits me off. The umpire did that.
Tennis. And Radic has the break in the final set. The 30-year-old, a veteran Czech. He is playing a very highly intelligent, sophisticated game of tennis. He has a bunch of fans here in Brisbane. First time to Brisbane for nearly all of the players involved in this tournament, and they really enjoyed their stay here. A little overconfident serving and bowling on the second ball. Beredasko steps in. Points one at net is 19 for Stepanek, 7 for Beredasko. And the percentage of points won when he goes to the net is 79% for Stepanek. 64% for Verdasco. Just pressing on the back end when the winner's not there, making unnecessary errors.
It's only hit 2 backhand winners for the entire match. But quite a number of errors, 14 errors compared to 2 winners. Not a good ratio. First volley error for quite some time from Stepanek.
And strangely, the shouting was coming from Stepanek, because you would have imagined that having missed such a vital and very easy second serve, that you could have imagined Verdasco having a little bit to say.
Even like to see Verdasco intimidate a little more on the second serve and give the forehand some room. Stand over. Say, if you want to go for a big serve, try and ace me on it, it's all yours. Otherwise, I'm going to crank up the forehand.
Got that ball back very quickly and forced a half volley. Draws the arrow. Break point again.
Steamy, humid conditions in Brisbane. It's been the success here for the tournament, though, is having the roof over the Pat Raft Arena. Of course, as soon as you put a roof, it doesn't rain.
Great movement. And there's some fire coming from the Beredasko camp, urging their man on. Great reach. Snapped it from three-quarter court.
Of course, what the roof does here in Brisbane, though, it stops you being in that direct sunlight, which can be brutal up here this time of year. Here we go. Use your forehand here, Fernando.
I don't know what's going on here.
I think he might have snapped a shoelace in this rally, Beredasko.
He broke a shoelace.
Yeah, he has. He's slid so much on the side almost of his shoe that he's cut the shoelace. You can see there on the inside of the left foot how, because they slide so much on this hardcourt, it's not the sole of the shoe they're wearing, it's the side, and it was not a string snap, but a lace snap.
So what rule does this come under? A sort of a equipment failure?
Yeah, well, it's pretty hard for him to play with only one shoe. He's got he's pulling out the spare shoes just to grab the lace, I guess. Most players will have, at least 2 pairs of shoes with them at the courts, maybe even 3. Most of them you'll find will have a pair they have for matches and a pair that they'll have for warm-ups and practice. Don't see it all that often.
It's interesting when you looked at the shoe was more worn on that inside top area than the actual sole.
You might be sitting at home saying, well, why don't you just put the new shoe on? But if you haven't played in it, what'll happen? Well, personally, I used to always like to have 1 or 2 sessions in the new pair of shoe just to get them worn in, blisters, whatever. I mean, these guys don't get blisters that much because they'll go through, in a tournament like this, they'll go through at least 2 pairs. Expensive business. And also these days with airlines and luggage, there's a lot of excess weight going around, because I know I used to go on the road and take 8 to 10 pairs of tennis shoes per trip, and it'd last me 4 or 5 weeks. You've got to try and get the manufacturer to send them in advance to the tournaments that you go to.
Oh, Stepanek's problem in the end-of-year event where he filled in is, was it his rackets and gear that got held up at customs? Here's the very animated Radek Stepanek, who's getting charged up. As in the previous 2 matches, when he'd lost the first set 6-2 and then managed to immediately, the second set began, he's staged his comeback. He's managed to upset the rhythm of his opponent during the first set, gradually dismantles their game. Just having a few serves now to avoid cooling down. 30 years of age, not much chance of cooling down in this weather. Why not? So,
Thank you.
picking it up at juice. 1 set all. Radek Stepanek has the early break in the final set, leading 1-love.
Deuce.
Fighting on serve at deuce. He leads 2-love, final set.
Stepanek leads 2 games to 1.
Well, it's becoming a great final. Just not a match of shots, but a match of wits also. And that's what Radek Stepanek brings to the game. A very cunning mind.
When you look at both players at this stage, and Stepanek's into the 3rd match in a row where he's gone extended set all the way into the 3rd. He doesn't look as fresh as his opponent. And that's the one we're talking about, Beredasko using a little more.
Moving around and just lashing this forehand. This game he's had for a while at 40-love. He needed that confidence-building game. He's on the board in the 3rd set, but Stepanek leads 2-1. Radek Stepanek leading 2-1 with a break in the final set. The Brisbane International men's singles final.
Oh, gee.
And you could just see the frustration there in Fernando's face, looking at his camp and appearing powerless against the guile and the cunning of the veteran Czech. Beaten by meters with that drop shot.
Net.
It's an orthodox point. And Beredasko laps it up. Nice approach shot straight to his backhand, and Beredasko makes the passing shot.
It's the first one he's actually gone in and ripped quite hard and flat. A lot of Beredasko's passes off the backhand go with quite a lot of height over the net. He passes almost 3 feet up above when he goes down the line.
And just for the extra tease, he could have put it away lots of different places, but just went for the drop shot.
You can see there, that was what I'm talking about. This was a mix between deciding whether he goes with the pass with height. I mean, if it was a lob, it was a poor one. Point before, he was more penetrating. And Stepanek reads the net so well. I think to pass him, you've got to go with the speed. You can't go with sort of just placement.
First serves picked up 2 in the last 2 points, 198, 200. He's serving faster now than he was throughout the first set. Another easy volley to put away.
40-15.
Moving the ball around. Stepanek leads 3-1.
3 games to 1.
Well, at this stage of the match, you look at Stepanek and you say, well, if you just continue doing what you're doing, you're going to get across the line. So the only thing that can go wrong for him is if he gets a little tentative, a little nervous. And that has happened in the past. Years ago, was in the Wimbledon quarter-final, served for the match to make the semis, which would have been the best result of his career, and capitulated badly against the veteran Swede Jonas Bjorkman.
Well, maybe that's what he's got to do, go for more big first serves. He's certainly got it. He's only, I think, gone for 2 big ones today. Both have gone in. He's won both points. First serve percentage still remaining in the mid-80s, 86%. Just doesn't know what to do with that ball when he gets there.
He doesn't like coming forward and having to play the shot, does he?
Particularly on the backhand. I mean, he's tried this heavy slice ball, but...
Well, the intelligent part of this is you see Stepanek coming straight at him and almost as if to take his eye off the ball, and also then he's got to try to feel a spot, find a little spot to dump it in front. He doesn't like doing that. Stepanek thinking well.
Keen to get the second break. And now 2 break points to go to a 4-1 lead in the final set, which would really put him in the driver's seat. The break. Stepanek, 4-1, double break, final set. Radek Stepanek, his 8th final on the ATP Tour. He's lost 5 finals, 1-2 to this point, but he's a good thing now. It's not that hard.
No, that's the point. That's the point. He's got to try to play a bit more, although he was brought in. But look at the result once he got there. That nice approach shot. Stepanek can't penetrate so well off the forehand side. Volley and a put-away smash. Voila.
Not having a good day with his backhand passing shot. But so often in today's game, he would be asked to make many backhand passing shots. But Radic has been coming to the net time and again, and successfully. And he's frustrated now, missing his favourite forehand.
Yeah, just mentioned, you know, having trouble finishing matches off, but you won't have trouble finishing matches off when you play this solid. Good first serve, come up with a strong volley. If your opponent's able to make a passing shot, great. But look at that face. It's suggesting it's difficult.
Big point, that one. Big difference at this stage of the match between 40-15 and 30 all. Velasco still with a chance to get the break back. And this is where the veteran might tighten up and give Velasco a chance. He's choked on the volley. And Velasco digging in. Well, there's a brave shot under the circumstances.
It was a mix of it was there and there was a high degree of difficulty, J.A.
He tightened up. Break point. He's gone for the big one to the forehand. Another mental error. Letting the ball go, it goes in, and Fernando has one of the breaks back. Oh, this match far from over.
And this is where you can see the body language change. Body language in Stepanek here has just gone quite a touch flatter.
Stumbling after the ball. Velasco's tempo has picked up from the back of the court. Take that. Trying to generate some momentum.
Yeah, it's changing.
Took a little bit of a risk. At 40 love down. But unlike some of the others, he really accelerated the racket through the ball. He felt for that one several times and made errors when the ball's been swinging into his body. Beresco on a bit of a run. He trails now only 4-3. This has become a very tense affair. A little while ago, it was 2 breaks up and 30-15 on serve. And now it's 4-3. And Beresco is in striking range.
So, just keen to see the serve here of Stepanek. If he misses a few first serves, the second can get a little steery. Maybe even the odd double. Hasn't served many today, only one. He got the ball he wanted, Beresco. Got to be careful you don't go to the well once too often on those drop shots, intense moments. I think he's done well by playing them today, but this could get him into strife here because I think Stepanek wants to be coming forward here, not bringing his opponent in and being forced to play the shot himself. And again.
Well, same thing happened in the previous game. He had 30-15. Tensed up. And this is a bit lower. You can see he's trying to get in before the ball gets below the level of the net. But even so, he could have taken an extra step and played a forcing volley and put it up to him to make him make the passing shot. It hasn't made a lot off the backhand. Maybe serve. And it's a break point to level this match.
Oh, genius. Could you play a harder shot than that one? Oh, gee, it was a great serve, but he gets in here and he gets caught, and then wonderful racket head control to be able to just deftly dig that one out and control it. Huge.
Tennis. Unbelievable tennis.
That was a terrific defensive lob. And that was even a better smash considering the circumstances.
First bounce smash of the day. And late in the match, crowd was a little unruly, could have been distracting. Point for 5-3. And he's got it. At 30 years of age, he is just one game away from his third career title. And Velasquez's emotion started to show. He's looking very positive the last couple of games. His shoulders are sagging again.
A little bit of disappointment from not getting that break of the break point in the previous game.
This crowd just can't believe this tennis. They might be surprised to know that not all finals are this good. This is one of the great finals we have had in Australia in recent years. And it's not over.
30-15.
You can just feel the drama intensifying if Stepanek has to serve the match out.
He's done a lot of work physically the last couple of games, Stepanek, and previous rounds to get here.
221. 3 times he's gone for the big serve, and he has hit it every time. He's going to take a break and come back and serve for the championship. Well, you can feel the tension.
This is a big point. That point there, Jay, determines how Stepanek can play the rest of this game while he serves it out. If he's aggressive, or if he feels that tension.
Absolute classic serve volley. He's to 30, halfway there.
Please. Thank you.
A little bit of gamesmanship from Fernando there, hitting a ball to create a delay. And he still has life.
3-15.
Just depends so much here on that first serve statistic. Beautifully structured point.
That was the money play.
He did everything right, didn't he?
Championship point. Is a tense shot. Now, if you don't think this championship means a lot to Radek, think again. He froze on that forehand.
It's deep breath time.
A most worthy champion of this first Brisbane International. And he's got a unique way of celebrating it. He has beaten the odds in the last 3 rounds, beating players high ranked, giving them a set start on each occasion. But the 30-year-old Radek Stepanek from the Czech Republic is our first champion. And such a worthy champion he is.
Radek Stepanek outlasts Fernando Verdasco in a dramatic singles final to win the Brisbane International. Coming up, we'll hear from the players. Radek Stepanek defeats Fernando Verdasco, rallying from a set down to prevail in 3 tough sets, winning $77,000 and 250 ATP World Tour ranking points. Now it's time for the presentation of the championship trophy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for those of us who've joined us for most of the week here at the Pat Rafter Arena, you've seen some great tennis, but what about that men's singles final between Fernando and Radek today? Thank you, guys. Great game of tennis. We're joined for the official presentation by the Honourable Paul Lucas MP, Deputy Premier of Queensland and Minister for Infrastructure and Planning, Mr Jeff Pollard, President of Tennis Australia, Mr Stephen Ailes, Tournament Director of the Brisbane International, and Mr Tom Barnes, ATP World Tour Supervisor. Let's welcome the man who didn't quite make it today, but I know that 2009 will bring many, many more tournament titles. Fernando Verdasco of Spain.
You know, I don't know where to start. First, I need to congratulate Radek for the great tournament and also a great game today. I was feeling so good, and you know, and he played even better than me. So, congratulations. I would like to thank for sure. At first, thank you to my team. My dad and my friend that was here all the week with me. And also in Christmas and in Vegas I was practicing, so we were already like three weeks out of home, almost 4, so thank you so much. And I would like also to say thanks for everybody here make possible this tournament, the tournament director, of course, all the sponsors, Brisbane Marketing, Queensland's Events, and Mirbach, and of course all the umpires and ball kids, everybody, you know. And of course, thank you for all your support, everybody here. I was feeling like at home, and it's a great tournament for me, the first time. Always the first time is the worst, so if this year is the worst, I cannot imagine next year or the others, no? So nothing else. Thank you so much. I would like to come more years, and I will try my best to win this tournament, because now, you know, it will be in my heart, and I would like to win. So thank you so much, and see you again.
Thank you, Fernando. I'm sure you'll be more than welcome back here in Brisbane at the Brisbane International, and we wish you the very best of luck in the coming weeks heading up to, of course, the first Grand Slam of the year at the Australian Open Championship. Well, he's got 2 titles on the ATP World Tour. This is his 3rd. He is the champion for 2009, Radek Stepanek.
quick start for me this year. So, first of all, thank you to the sponsors who made this tournament possible. Brisbane Marketing, Queensland Events, and Mirvac. Without them, we're not going to be here, so thanks to them. You know, this is for me incredible feeling right now, holding this trophy, you know, first week of the new season, and you know, coming here to a completely new tournament. You know, the center court is here wonderful, and all the memories which I have here is gonna stay with me forever. So thank you very much for your support, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the tennis. I would like to also thanks to my team, which is, you know, they are not here, they are far away from here. There are few of them are in Czech Republic, few of them are in America. I would like to thanks them for preparing me for this season, you know, and the preparation paid off right away first week, so I would like to thank to them, and I would like to make one note to my condition coach, because he got 10 days ago, he got a baby boy. And I promised him that I'm going to bring him trophy home from Australia, so I'm already here. And not last but not least, thank you for all of you for a great support the whole week. It was, for me, it was an honor to play in front of such a crowd like you are, and I hope I'll be back next year. Thank you very much.
I think he enjoyed holding that trophy up one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Brisbane International 2009 men's singles champion, Radek Stepanek.
So Radek Stepanek starts the new year with the third singles title of his career. He'll take some momentum with him to Melbourne for the first Grand Slam tournament of the year, the Australian Open. For John Alexander and Todd Woodbridge, this is Brian Weber. You've been watching the ATP World Tour on Tennis Channel. So long, everyone.